All right, let me start this the way your brain likes it. What if I told you that you already know how people think? You just don't realize you're doing it. Like how you instantly trust one person and feel weird around another, even though they both said the same exact thing. Or how you can sense when someone's "I'm fine" actually means "I am one minor inconvenience away from losing it." Yeah, that's human behavior. And today I'm going to share 9 secrets that quietly run how humans think, act, and react, including you, me, and that one person who reads messages and replies 3 business days later. Stick till the end, because the last one explains why people suddenly change and why it feels so confusing when they do. Let's get into it. Secret number 1. People care more about feeling right than being right. Here's a fun experiment. Tell someone a fact, then tell them they're wrong. Watch what happens. They don't go, "Oh wow, thank you for expanding my knowledge." No, their shoulders tense. Their tone changes. Their brain switches from learning mode to defense mode. Because for most humans, being wrong doesn't feel like, "I learned something new." It feels like, "I lost." That's why arguments rarely end with, "You're right, I was wrong." They end with, "Okay, but what I meant was." People will defend a wrong opinion longer than they'll admit uncertainty, not because they're dumb, but because their identity is involved. When someone challenges your belief, your brain hears, "They're challenging me." That's why the fastest way to influence someone isn't proving them wrong. It's letting them feel right while gently guiding them forward. Secret number 2. Silence makes people uncomfortable. So they expose themselves. Ever notice how awkward silence feels? You're standing in an elevator. No one's talking. Everyone suddenly finds the floor fascinating. That discomfort is powerful. If you ask someone a question and then stay silent, like actually silent, they almost always keep talking. They'll explain, clarify, add extra details, sometimes even confess things you didn't ask for, because the human brain hates open loops. Silence feels like an unfinished sentence. That's why interrogators use it. That's why therapists use it. And that's why some people overshare on the first meeting. Silence isn't empty. It's pressure. And most people crack it open just to feel normal again. Secret number 3. People remember how you made them feel, not what you said. Think about someone you dislike. Now ask yourself, can you remember exactly what they said? Probably not. But you remember how they made you feel. Small, annoyed, uncomfortable, judged. Now think about someone you love being around. Same thing. You might not remember their words, but you remember feeling relaxed, seen, safe. That's because emotions are sticky. Words are slippery. This is why someone can say the right thing in the wrong tone and ruin everything. And why someone can say something awkward but make you laugh and suddenly they're charming. People don't walk away remembering conversations. They walk away remembering experiences. Secret number 4. The brain is lazy and proud of it. Your brain is an energy-saving machine. It loves shortcuts. That's why first impressions are so strong. That's why stereotypes exist. That's why habits are hard to break. Once your brain labels something as safe, dangerous, good, bad, it stops reevaluating, not because it's accurate, but because it's efficient. Changing your mind requires effort. Admitting a new perspective requires energy. And the brain goes, Or we could just keep believing what we already believe. That's why people double down instead of reflecting. It's not stubbornness. It's mental economy. Your brain wants to be right once, not think forever. Secret number 5. People mirror who they want to connect with. Ever notice how you start talking like the people you hang around? You pick up their phrases, their humor, even their tone. That's not accidental. That's psychological mirroring. Humans subconsciously copy people they like, admire, or want approval from. If someone mirrors your posture, your pace of speech, or your energy, they're signaling comfort and connection. If they suddenly stop mirroring, short replies, closed body language, less expression, that's emotional distance showing up quietly. Mirroring is the brain's way of saying, I see you, I belong here. And when it disappears, something has shifted. Secret number 6. People avoid pain more than they seek happiness. You'd think that people chase happiness. They don't. They avoid pain. That's why people stay in bad relationships, stay in jobs they hate, stay silent when they want to speak. Because the pain of staying is familiar. The pain of change is unknown, and the human brain hates uncertainty more than discomfort. I know this hurts, but at least I know what to expect. That's the logic. That's why advice alone doesn't change people. They don't need to know what to do. They need to feel safe enough to do it. Until the pain of staying becomes worse than the fear of leaving, people don't move. Secret number 7. Most people are thinking about themselves. Not you. Here's a relief you didn't know you needed. That awkward thing you said, that moment you replay in your head at 2 a.m. Most people don't remember it. Why? Because they're too busy worrying about their own awkward moments. Humans are self-focused by default. Not selfish, just mentally occupied. So when you think, everyone noticed that, what's actually happening is, everyone noticed themselves. This is why confidence is magnetic. Not because confident people are perfect, but because they're not constantly checking themselves. They're present, and presence feels rare. Secret number 8. Compliments reveal more than criticism. Pay attention to what people compliment. If someone always compliments intelligence, they value being smart. If they compliment looks, they value appearance. If they compliment kindness, they crave emotional safety. We project our values through praise. And criticism, that usually reveals insecurities. People often criticize in others what they fear in themselves. Someone insecure about discipline criticizes laziness. Someone insecure about honesty criticizes others' intentions. Someone insecure about control criticizes chaos. It's not always conscious, but it's consistent. What we react strongly to usually points inward. Secret number 9. People change, and it's rarely sudden. This one matters. When people change, it feels sudden to you. But to them, it's been happening quietly for a long time. Little disappointments, unspoken thoughts, small emotional withdrawals. By the time they act, they've already processed it internally. That's why it feels shocking. That's why it feels unfair. That's why you think, where did this come from? It didn't come from nowhere. You just weren't inside their head. Change isn't loud at first. It's silent, gradual, invisible, until one day it's visible. Final thought. Understanding human behavior doesn't make you manipulative. It makes you aware. It helps you listen better, react softer, judge less, and understand more. Because once you realize that everyone is operating with their own fears, habits, and emotional shortcuts, you stop taking everything personally, and life gets a little lighter. If this made you think, even for a second, then your brain just learned something new. And unlike most people, you didn't argue with it.